Greetings and welcome to the RC Wallet Vacuum channel. Today's video is going to be a quick review of the long-term operation / beating of a Traxxas Rustler. I put together a highlight clip of just a fraction of what this vehicle has encountered. So stick around because after that's finished, I will give a rundown of what is broken and what's needed upgrades. So enjoy. Be better shape for your vehicle. That was a good landing.
I gotta find the way to hit the so it clears.
You almost cleared the third one.
Did you get any good shots of it?
It's tough to tell on this. You gotta see on the laptop. No, that's why I was trying to get ones like that. You caught that one and landed on that one, did you?
Well, it just kind of like slithered.
And I hit a tree with the front left. I think I might have actually bent one of the pivot pin on the AM too. So now that you've seen what the Rustler has endured in its life, I'll give you a little rundown of what's failed and what I need to change. Starting with the body, as you can see, it's a little beat up, but you know, it's still there. Some pieces have busted off it. As far as the clipless mounting, I'm kind of neutral on that. I mean, there are some good points of it, and there's some bad points. It does tend to fly off in hard hits. I imagine the body flexes and pulls out its mounts. But, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of another. First thing I had problems with is the shocks. They, under hard hits, these retainers would pop out, fly off in the woods. I have to go down and make something up on the lathe to reuse it. So I usually will let that go until they start coming apart up on top here. Once that started, I usually will change to Pro lines, but Pro lines weren't available, so I went with the upgraded Traxxas shocks. Put them on, put oil in them, put them on, and they've been flawless ever since. None of these things have popped off. They don't leak. They're great shocks. I definitely don't have an issue with them at all. Then I started having issues down here with on these the caster blocks. They only have a little pin that goes in there, it's threaded on one end and pinned on the other side. So and those were splitting apart and coming out. So I went through and drilled all the way through and just put a nylon lock nut on there, and that worked good for a while. But then eventually the stress gets to them and they end up cracking. So I upgraded to these, and these seem pretty nice, and I've been running those all along. And I'm going to be upgrading to these steering blocks. I got an anodized aluminum too. Same with back here on these stub axle carriers. These I went through and drilled. These weren't coming apart, but I went through and drilled them all out and put a captive nut in there to hold in place. Steering servo and the servo saver have been flossed. Nothing's messed up in it, which I'm really shocked. That still seems fine. I probably still will change it out this winter, but it's been no problem at all. The other thing that's been really good has been the I don't know if this camera's going to focus in there, but the spur and pinion gears there, they don't even show any wear on them. And the slipper clutch, I haven't touched the slipper clutch, so that's been working really well. So that hasn't been any kind of an issue. I've had no issues with the speed control. I'm going to go through and a lot of these drive shafts here, the pins are getting worn out in the holes. A lot of those have to be replaced. And for sure, I got to replace is these hex hub adapters. They've chewed right out. I got some aluminum replacements for that, so those will get done. The bearings, I'm gonna have to go through and replace all the bearings. I think they're 511 by 4s, and so those are gonna be done. But this thing's been running for at least 2, maybe 3 seasons of rough duty, and it's done pretty well. One thing I've definitely learned the hard way is the motors. Make sure you change your bearings in them frequently. Certainly at least once a season, depending on how much you use it. If you let them go too long and the cage comes apart and the inner and outer races separate, balls fly all over the place in there, and then you try to get the outer race out of the back side of the motor, good luck. You got to fabricate some kind of special tool to get in there to get them. Generally, it's the PTO side is the one that wears the quickest, at least what I've seen on this, and also a Slash with the same motor, similar setup. And but yeah, I definitely want to keep them, and then to keep them changed. And then those are the same bearings that's in the wheels, the 511 by 5 millimeter, 11 millimeter by 4 millimeter bearing. And so other than that, I mean, this thing's taken a beating, and what you've seen is only a fraction of what it's done. And I would definitely recommend it. It's a real tough. It's a tough vehicle. I know a lot of people trash Traxxas, but I've always been a fan of Traxxas. So I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this. It's a durable vehicle.